Yeah.
it's one of those where it's like, you know, in the year where I got the 17th century doorknob, I was growing Copenhagen cabbages and
Mm-hmm.
market Copenhagen market cabbages, and they were known to be very fast. But when you get something fast like that, you're not going to get that big size head. And it's one of those things too. I think our connection with food really comes from what we see in the grocery store. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the answer to this, but I would be curious there can't be like a broad spectrum of varieties that you get at the grocery store. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be like a handful of varieties that you
Yeah,
get. So like
yeah.
what do you see like what are we missing from that? Cuz I know as soon as I finish talking I'm going to go Google it and I'm going to start listing stuff out. But it's just one of those things that it's like we're going crazy over variety. And it's like I knew that the Copenhagen cabbage was fast, but it didn't click in my head that that meant smaller. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that you know, I've lived in grocery stores for a lot of my childhood and all of my adult life. It's a comfort place for me. So I think about how often I'm starting my 2025, gallery. This is what they're charging for to get in, but how infrequently you see the actual name of something. So it's broccoli, it's cabbage, right? Like really it's tomato and but that's not a variety, right? So I just assume that consumers aren't interested in a way where they've pressed grocery stores to actually name those kind of things. There may be more specifics, but my average grocery stores around me, it's just it's
Yeah.
even sweet potatoes, like once they're turned into, oh, if I look at you can see like the name of them. You kind of get what's there, right? Uh, Things like, something the way we're talking about it.
So I did a Google search, and we typically don't do this on this show, but there's a YouTube channel, and I'm sure you may have come across them, the Veggie Boys.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They have a video about this. Obviously I can't watch it right now, but I'm going to watch it, and I suggest you do. And the reason why I said something about them is because typically you don't see large farms show what they do like that and on a scale like they do. So I think to check that out if you're interested, because I found lists, but it focused a lot on like market farms, market farms, market gardens, whatever you want to call them. But they are typically higher end produce, and a lot of restaurants are now buying from them because they can get different varieties instead of your standard. But what
Mm-hmm.
I'm referring to is like you go to whatever grocery store and you buy a head of cabbage, like what variety of cabbage is that you get that
Yeah.
2-3 pound head of cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll watch that after this and see. But it's very interesting because as I Googled it, I found, and I started reading the varieties, and what I noticed was a lot of them are your more gourmet
Mm-hmm.
vegetables. If you're watching YouTube, you would have seen the air quotes about gourmet. But it's one of those things, and the only reason why it's gourmet is because it's different, right? So, and
Yeah.
which I guess makes me feel better because that means we're all growing gourmet food in our gardens. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
straight.
Well, it's interesting because you'll hear sometimes people will say, well, when should I harvest the zucchini? And a pretty easy answer without having any details about the specific variety they're growing, how long it's been growing. We may say, well, compare it to the size that you see in the grocery store. I think that the head of that's in my local grocery store that's blocks away looks different than the that's at, the discount. And to the point earlier, we are talking about, Dan's cabbage I see in the spring and April looks different than see in November, you know. And that's only because I don't buy cabbage really at all, unless it's like maybe a red cabbage during an off season. But um, I don't buy it, and I'm able
Right.
to taste the
Yeah, I
difference
don't know.
in
I mean,
that.
I
That's
don't have I mean, truth be told, this is kind of weird to say out loud, but because we've been growing our own food for so long, we haven't really
mhm.
I'm not comparing, to the grocery store and stuff like that. But I know like if we do pick up a cabbage, like I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't taste any different really. I mean, I
Mm-mm.
can't notice a difference. Can you? I mean, I know tomatoes are, there are definitely some things that are totally different. But,
Mhm.
some crops I don't taste like lettuce. The only thing I can tell is that it's more fresh when you grow it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's what I can tell. So, but variety does matter. So if you're going to get something that is a smaller variety or a faster growing variety, don't expect to get that huge harvest off of it. That's the moral of the story for this one. Be realistic about what you're going to get and accept it. And I've grown some like I grew ooh broccoli. What is it? I grew a sprouting broccoli. Oh, calabrese broccoli, and I
Mhm.
always thought it was bolting. Well, then I looked at the fine print. It's a sprouting broccoli. It's supposed to look like that, and I'm like, oh, so I didn't like it. So I had to throw the seeds out. You know what I mean? Like, just don't grow that anymore. Move on. So it's just kind of one of those things.
I mean, I think that generally speaking, it's reading the description. Most times in the description of, seeds, wherever you're getting from them from, it tells you the expected size of the vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you things like, estimated harvest date. And that leads you to kind of what you should expect, right? I love that you said like fast growing. We're really drawn to that, but that may oftentimes mean a smaller size. And depending on the vegetable, I feel like sometimes they're sacrificing the taste. We've argued about this, you and I, before, but I still stand firm in that.
Yeah. Um, I will say this, and you have to eliminate certain crops that produce one, but I've said this many, many times. If you're growing something that produces smaller fruits, you're going to get more of a harvest. That's just how it
True.
works. So understand that. But you can't grow a yellow pear tomato and expect to get an 8 ounce tomato off of it. You know what I
Mm-hmm,
mean? So it's
hmm.
just kind of, let's be realistic about that. Um, so the next thing that really to focus on, to kind of help drive this growth would really, and it's a simple concept, but it's one that, Batavia and I, every year we have this conversation, usually in spring, like we cracked another code. And it's, the amount of water that the plants are getting makes a huge, huge difference in some of these, or really all of them, but especially these spring crops because they're very water filled crops. Anything that you harvest a leaf off of is a lot of water. So, a lot of times, like you'll harvest, just to put it in perspective, you'll harvest your lettuce early in the morning because it's more plump with water. And then in the afternoon, it'll lose some of that water content as as a plant tries to preserve the water throughout the heat of the day. And I say it like that because it's, in the heat of the day is just the warmer period than what its optimal temperature is.
Yeah, if you're talking about kind of the best looking vegetables, right? You limp lettuce isn't anything that anyone's like, really attracted to, right? So if you think about kind of the coolness that vegetables like lettuce thrives in, even when you run lettuce under, a cool stream of water, right? Like if you're washing it off, and you let it sit in some cool water and it perks back up, right? These are kind of the little hints of, you harvest it hopefully earlier in the morning. And once you get it inside, again, if it experiences some level of um, depletion, right? This is a kind of a side trick to kind of spruce it back up. But it's all hinting at like it likes it cooler. You want to have the vegetable that's hydrated,
Right.
right? Water is what it's doing. It's hydrating those
Yeah.
plants, even if it is still in the ground or in the container.
Well, also what it's doing is it's transporting the nutrients to the roots. So,
Uh, Go ahead. We're working this out. Go
okay, yeah, the
ahead.
conveyor belt was broke. So, I mean, the water is not just, I mean, a huge part of it is keeping the plants hydrated, just like us.
Mhm.
But it's just like if you get dehydrated and you lose your electrolytes, your body cannot send chemicals and hormones and all that around itself. So what you do when you water enough is you're allowing those roots to, one, be receptive to the water, but two, be able to transport those nutrients to other parts of the plant for it to use, and also makes it more readily available